welcome to the call, everybody. As you know, my name is Chad Madden with Breakthrough. You know what we're about here, helping people in pain get back to normal naturally. And the best way for us to do that is to work with owners and also partners such as BetterHealthcare here, who it's just a special honor that you're here today, Marla. And Marla is going to be walking us through a presentation on how to convert, because as we said, as we were just talking about here, if you were late to the conversation, you know, many of us are now going out into the marketplace and attempting to attract patients with direct-to-consumer marketing. At the same time, the crucial element often is conversion. So at this point, Marla, if you can fill in the intro and take it away, that would be great.
Great. All right, perfect. So do you want to keep going on here? Is this, did you go?
I mean, everybody on this call has seen this before, but again, we teach a lot on attraction, that top of the funnel awareness and acquisition, getting people that are in pain in the community to raise their hand. BetterHealthcare and the tools, the suite of tools that you have, Marla, are excellent at helping people convert over.
Right. So thank you so much for that introduction. My company is BetterHealthcare, and I am a physical therapist, still practicing actually, and one of the founders of BetterHealthcare. And we set out about 5.5 years ago because we decided that we needed to redefine access to care in the PT industry. It was notoriously known as barriers, and all of our goals, your goal, my goal, every practice owner goal, is to get patients to physical therapy quickly, to get them the best care possible, and to get them better. So that being said, you know, we really had to think about, how do we get patients to physical therapy quicker, easier, faster, and how do we make it more efficient for the patient, the provider, and all of the parties involved. So I want to start out with a little bit of a poll asking you guys, have you ever booked your airline ticket online? Have you booked your Uber? Have you booked your restaurant reservation or anything of that matter through online scheduling? And if you guys, you'll see a poll pop up, if you could just answer that for me. And of course, the follow-up question, did you find that it was more efficient for you and easier to do that versus calling and waiting on hold, potentially on a really busy day, especially, you know, if you're working, or finally when you get home and put your kids to bed, you realize whatever that service industry was is closed now, right? So I'll give everyone a few more minutes to fill out that poll. Great. Okay. So looks like about 100% of you that answered has done that in some way, face or form. So really what it is that, I'm going to share results there. Okay, great. What it is that we've become more of a mobile-centric consumer, and we're digital. So whether you want to realize it or not, you know, your youngest patient to your oldest patient is able to interact with their environment through their phone or their computer. So they're used to now being able to, whatever it is, Amazon package, service industry, they could see what's available, put their information in, get it, simple, instant, on demand, and convenient. But in physical therapy, that journey has not always been there. Notoriously, what it's been is that a doctor might refer the patient has to call your clinic within hours of operation. Maybe they go to your website and they see a form, they have to fill that out, but your front desk still is very much so involved and has to reach out to the patient, ask their insurance information, get off the phone, verify, get back on the phone. There's a lot of back and forth and a lot of barriers for both parties, that the patient has to do it within the hours of operation. The clinic has to do it when they have time. Sometimes a lot of missed calls, voicemails, phone calls. And at the end of the day, that leads to low conversion rates, which Chad just pointed out in the beginning. You might have a lot of patients with interest, but just their busy schedule gets in the way, and the process gets in the way. And so therefore, You end up having some operational inefficiencies, lack of actionable data about, did these patients get in? Are you tracking all those email forms that are coming through and not getting those patients in the door? So you might be spending a lot of money on marketing. You might be spending a lot of money on an advertising and branding, but were you able to convert the patient? And that's really important for just revenue results and, of course, getting the patient better. So what we've seen in the general industry and now in the healthcare industry is that people are looking for that digital front door, that easy access to care. So most patients are going online to research their medical condition, and either a Google My Business is popping up of physical therapy, right? Your card that says everything about you on Google, or your website's popping up. And patients are actually searching providers, looking through websites, looking through your Facebook. So right there is the funnel. They're coming in, and hopefully you hired somebody like Chad and Breakthrough Marketing, that you're actually increasing that funnel to just patients in pain. So they're coming in, they're finding you, but are they actually converting, and do they have that real call to action, that easy access point that they could just click a button, see what's available, and get right in? That's what the digital front door is. It ends up becoming really, really effective because once they find you, they can see what's available, pulled right from your schedule, put their information in, their insurance, their eval, their date of birth, and send it right over to your front desk. That's actually way more efficient. Yes, you want the patient to look through your website, or would you rather just have them book, put the information in? So that's what we're looking for, is to help your clinic provide a patient with that entry point. And you've got to understand, you want to attract those patients who are in pain through just make them know about physical therapy, then make them know about you, and then right there, convert them. So in order to do so, that's when the online scheduling comes into play. So here, as you see, through every digital touch point, whether if it's your website, your Google My Business, your Facebook, you should have that link that's trackable and that's a real experience, not just a form. That's going to facilitate the conversion. And being able to know, did the patient click the button and book an appointment? That is going to give you data so you can actually see how many patients are converting and how quickly. BetterHealthcare provides just that. We integrate with your EMR, and we're able to pull available times, show it to the patient. The patient is able to walk through your own customizable booking flow and send the information back to you. We're also able to provide the data, the analytics. We're able to provide telehealth. So if the patient can't get into your clinic physically, you can actually shoot out a telehealth call to see them virtually and then convert them. We're also able to provide text and SMS so that if the patient is not able to do that time, you can actually text them alternative times and make that scheduling process so much easier, so much more efficient for both your patient and for the providers. And that's where a better access comes into play, which I'll show you in a few minutes. It's being able to offer that patient self-scheduling. Now, we all know that you're going to say, oh my goodness, I don't want somebody showing up on my schedule. Do I really want them to have access? We want to control it. Don't worry. It's still a request at the end of the day. All the information goes to your front desk. They can vet it out and click a button to confirm it. There's still the gatekeeper, but in a much more efficient way for both parties. In addition, it also creates a narrow network for you. So not only are patients able to go online and get to you, but we also have QR codes that patients can scan and then book their follow-up appointment. As you know, patients are sometimes waiting at the front desk for that one staff member who's there ready to schedule them. However, now with the restaurant industry, patients can just put their phone up to a QR code, see what's available, click a button and submit it. And then your front desk, when they're ready, can click it and confirm it. So being able to offer that experience to the patient, that ease, that way of them interacting with you in a much more efficient way is going to absolutely help with conversion in your clinic. So I'm going to show you how this works and how it becomes your 24/7 scheduling. Like we said, you only have certain hours that your front desk is available, but half the time it's when the busy mom finally puts her kid to bed at 12 a.m. that she goes on looking and searching for her care. So that's where you now have an extension of your office able to collect what you need and convert. And of course, with telehealth, as we all know, the pandemic, it's here, it's gone, it's coming back. We're not really sure. You guys may have all used for telehealth for the pandemic and just to make sure you saw patients in some way, shape, or form. I believe that this should still be part of your services as a tool in your toolbox when you need it. When somebody cancels, when a snow day comes, when somebody is on a business trip and can't physically come in, you should still be using telehealth as a way to get that patient converted and get them to be able to have care when they can't physically be in the clinic. So of course, you should think about extending outside your doors, not just through online scheduling, but also through offering a telehealth platform as well. So let me pull this up and show you how this works. All right. So this is a clinic out in Alabama. And as you could see, just like all your clinics have this request appointment call to action button, which is really important. However, what happens with that call to action is even more important. So when a patient finds you anywhere in the digital world, whether if it's on your website, on your Google My Business, or on your Facebook, you want this to be a real experience. So when the patient clicks that button, what we do is we become the Intel chip, and we offer a way where they can see all your clinics, or it could directly go to that one clinic, and the patient can request a telehealth or an in-clinic appointment. Then they're walked through your own customized booking flow, where they answer the questions that you are asking. Is this for an eval? Is it for a follow-up? Is it via referral or direct access? Are you post-op? Is it Medicare? Is it for a specialty? And of course, depending on what they click, it's going to offer up the available times being pulled directly from your EMR. So here I can see what's available at the clinic level and also what's available at the provider level. So as a patient now, at any hour of the day, I can say, great, this time works for me. Let's put this in here. Then I can go ahead and enter my insurance information. Again, really valuable for you as a provider, being able to have this prior to engaging with the customer. I could take a picture of my insurance front and back of the card if I'm on my mobile phone. I can add in the condition that I'm coming in for. I can say what provider sent me if I do have a referral. And then I can go ahead and submit this. As a patient, I have a notification once I submit that this is a request pending confirmation of the clinic, because just as you know, we want to capture everything about the patient, make it as easy as them to schedule, but then we still want our front desk to look at it, vet it out, verify it, and make sure it is appropriate to confirm. So now on the provider end, what's going to happen is all this information is going to be pushed back into the EMR. Notifications letting them know a patient has scheduled a visit or requested one with a nice block hold there. All of the information going into the EMR, so you don't have to be copy and pasting this from the phone or writing it down and sometimes manually getting it incorrect. And then being able to say, great, this works out. Let me verify benefits. Let me find out, is this the right therapist for them? And then being able to approve it right within the EMR. And once you do that, the patient receives notification that their appointment has been confirmed. It goes directly into their calendar. So right on their phone or their computer, it inserts itself into their calendar so that their phone is notifying them about the appointment. And now with the click of a button from the patient's end, they were able to set it up. The click of a button from the provider's end, they were able to confirm it. And then they can still call and reach out and say, welcome, we can't wait to have you. We got all your information. Here's your copay, here's your deductible, bring a pair of shorts and welcome to our clinic. So it ends up becoming a much different experience from that digital front door on both parties, and a much stronger conversion because the patient already has the time that works for them, already sent you their information, and you guys do your due diligence in finding out, is that insurance the right insurance? What's their copay? What's their deductible? And making sure that this is just an easy conversion on both ends. So that's the experience, and we can show you in many different EMRs. It's different per whatever EMR you're using, whether if it's going to be inserted in some EMRs inserted into the tasks, some EMRs inserted directly on the calendar. So obviously, depending on what you're using, we have different experiences for everybody. So just showing you another example of how it goes into the EMR and what it looks like on the end of the provider. All right. So what's also very important about this, and I kind of touched upon that with the digital touch points, is that as Chad was saying, and breakthrough marketing is always very much so encouraging you guys to reach out to patients and do B2C marketing, directly engage that patient from the digital world. Make sure that you're not relying on doctors, that you are using your resources, and that we're educating the public about physical therapy, not just the people coming directly from the doctor, because we know our services are so beneficial for anybody in pain, whether they know about therapy or not. So as breakthrough marketing is pulling them closer and closer to your funnel, and maybe you guys get on an educational call with those patients, the interest is there. It's providing that conversion tool so they can click and convert. So as I mentioned a little bit before, we provide that data. So anytime a patient clicks on your button, link, code, or QR code, whether if it's from a breakthrough marketing campaign, whether if it's from your Google My Business or your LinkedIn account, all of this is uniquely tracked. So we know and we share with you where the patient came from and how they converted and what that confirmation and conversion rate is. We've spent tons of time on a data warehouse to show you all that information. So you get to see how many appointments came through, how many were confirmed, how many were denied, and where they came from. This is so valuable from an aspect of your marketing team and any other initiatives that you're doing. Obviously, you want to put the codes and buttons everywhere. You want to put the QR codes out in your community. Any kind of race or marathon community event you have, you want to have that big QR code for the patient to quickly call to action and book an appointment. But then you want to know, did they book from there? How many? How did they convert? So we're able to show you exactly where the patient came from in a lot of different graphs to tell you, fantastic, that blog post that you wrote converted, that your email campaign you did, we converted this many patients. And you can actually see in a detailed fashion how many exact number of users came to it, how many sessions they had, page views, and then how many requests did they put in inpatient or telehealth. So you can see that conversion number from actually visitors to the website or the campaign, and then how many converted and became patients in your clinic. We also tell you about where those patients came from. Did they come from the desktop, from the mobile, from a tablet? Are they coming and requesting these appointments after hours or within business hours? We find that about 45% of patients are requesting appointments after hours. That means they sat down at their computer after 7 p.m., before 7 a.m., or on weekends to request these appointments. So that's really showing you that you're capturing that patient and offering them an easier way, an easier avenue, and a more efficient, quicker process. We're also able to show you how many of those patients are direct access. It is about a 30 to 35% that you'll see coming through your digital world as direct access patients, depending on what kind of marketing you're doing. But a lot of times you're getting much more direct access through your digital world than you are just out in your other initiatives. Because again, we're marketing directly to the patient. We're bypassing, do they have to see a doctor first? Direct access is in pretty much all states in a different form. But for the most part, even if you just grab that patient and then send them to the doctor, you become really valuable to the doctors. Now you are the one who is offering the doctor a patient to see, and then they're going to send them back to you. Also very important to see demographics of your patients that are coming through this platform. Are they males or females? What age buckets are they? What insurances are coming through? What conditions? What we find is about 30 to 50 is really the money spot of patients using this digital front door. Any age can use it, but that's the type of patient that is now working really hard, having kids, very, very busy and using technology in every other way of their life. So offering that call to action of that quick request an appointment or book now is really a great way to engage that customer. And you tend to see a lot more of those injuries of the low backs and the others, again, ones that might not seek out PT originally, but now that you have that very easy way of getting in, we're grabbing those patients and not the chiropractor, right? So that's always our goal, is to make sure that we are providing that easy entry point and grabbing that patient. So just giving you that background and that update about not only, where you're using these buttons and codes, but how you're converting them. And we really do walk you through about the QR codes. We provide documents upon documents of where these should be. And I'd like you all to think of how many times you've gone to a restaurant and used it recently. The pandemic has done a great job in bringing QR codes back, because people don't want to physically touch menus as much anymore. So now everybody understands they can put their phone up and just see what's available. So think of that as your clinic's menu and your clinic's entry point, whether if it's a marketing flyer that you're giving to a doctor with the phone number, but also the digital front door through the QR code. Whether if it's an ad you're doing somewhere or a newsletter that's going out, or if it's a, like we said, in a partner in a different facility, like a healthcare or a gym, you can have this nice QR code and this touch point where a patient can get right into your clinic. Just gonna pull back up 1 second. Oh, my apologies, grabbing that PowerPoint presentation, my apologies. All right. All right, while I'm pulling that back up, I'd love to just stop a little bit and see if anybody has any questions about the online scheduling and the ability to have that digital front door entry with patients. And please feel free to put them in the chat. Love to hear feedback about if you think this would be useful for your clinic, and also if you think that a patient's experience is one of your initiatives this year. All right. Give you guys a few more minutes. All right. And also going to just share a few data points here. So what we like to do, and as Chad was talking about, it's really important to understand your conversion, is we really like to take baseline data of what your clinic has right now. So we take a look at how many people are coming through your digital world and converting, and how many people click on your website button, fill your form out, and then become a patient. And that's something that everybody should be tracking. They should know exactly that conversion rate. Then when you add the experience of the online scheduling to all your digital channels, we should be able to show you how much it increased in each digital channel. So for example, just on Google My Business, we tend to see a 17% increase in conversion utilizing this technique of online scheduling compared to just a form or nothing at all. And time savings at the front desk, because your front desk is not necessarily spending all the time on those phone calls and calling back and forth, we tend to see about 327 hours saved by the front desk. This was a business case study we did with a clinic over a 1-year time span, just to show the amount of hours saved, that they're not just working on insurance and working on what's the right time and back and forth. So again, I'd like to see if people can unmute themselves or if chat. Love to hear a little bit of questions about how you feel this would work in your clinic or what your thoughts are about the digital front door.
Yeah, so for Abby, Jane, Justin, any other attendees that are on, what you can do is use the chat box or the questions tab. Best way to interact with us, especially Marla. Right. I'm wondering, for those that are on right now, what online marketing methods are you using today? We have hi, looks great. Is this system only for physical therapy providers? Perfect time to update, Marla.
Absolutely. So we are BetterHealthcare now. So it's not just for physical therapy providers. We used to be Better PT, and we absolutely were started and focused in the PT market, but we have updated now where it's able to be used in any vertical and have everybody from hospital systems providers, OTs, PTs, speech throughout the platform.
Great question.
And with the booking flow being customizable, you actually can ask what kind of service they're looking for. And when they click on that, it can only pull available times of the providers that fit that service. So whether if it's a specialty, a massage therapist, PT, it absolutely is able to be customizable in that format.
Yeah, Marla, I'll ask a selfish question. When you and I first started talking, I kind of assumed that it was for like a solo providers, but it seems like you have quite a few companies, practices that you're working with that are multi-location, have 10 plus providers, and it helps keep everything streamlined for those providers. Is that right?
Absolutely. So we actually have hospital systems of thousands of providers utilizing us, and we also have enterprise PT companies utilizing us. What we see is they might start with a few and realize that not only the efficiency, but the ability to track all of these coming through in one spot and not have to worry about all the emails and the forms and almost create a CRM, right? They don't need that CRM anymore. They're able, especially if they're using Breakthrough as well, they're able to have all of that in one spot. And that offers them huge efficiency at the enterprise level and at the front office staff level.
Great. Not every day I hear CRM, but well done. So Justin asked, does Google My Business offer an option to have a booking option on your listing?
Absolutely. And if you're not utilizing it, please do. So Google My Business, it's just a spot where it says, it actually says request appointment or appointment request, and you can add any link in there. So even if you don't use us for online scheduling, you can add at least your link to your form, but it's much stronger if you are using that real experience. So that's one of the benefits of signing up with us, as well as we hold your hand and we tell you where to optimize. There's a lot of really great techniques and strategies where you might be bringing people to the funnel and spending a lot of money on Google My Business, right? And making sure that you've got all the reviews and that you're popping up there. But then when the patient gets there, you want to give that call to action where they can learn more about you on your website. They can go directly to booking an appointment, or they can call you. Every patient is different. So you want to attract to each patient because you can treat all of them.
Completely agree. There's the more options you have throughout the process, better. M asked, can you explain how it integrates with the existing EMR or CRMs?
Absolutely. So every EMR is a little bit different. We have bidirectional integrations where we pull available times and we push back information. We have unidirectional integrations where we pull available times and maybe just push back a block hold, but you get all the information through our platform. And then we also have non-integrative models. There are some clinics that are really busy and would prefer not to have their actual appointment times pop up. So it just shows your hours of operation, and the patient requests a time within the hours of operation. And that then gets sent over to the front office staff, and they can text alternative times to the patient and communicate via text as well. So we do absolutely work with all the way from really efficient integration to kind of a lightweight, non-integrated model so that you're grabbing as many leads and still able to convert them in an easier fashion.
Marla, Justin asked, what EMRs do you work with? I don't know if there's a short or a long list, but I think it would be helpful if the owner, so Justin, you could probably just type the EMR that you work with, and I'm sure Marla has a user case or a case study of somebody that they've integrated with. That might be helpful, but do you have a list?
Yeah, I mean, there's a long list, and we can integrate with anyone. You know, we've done integrations already with Raintree, Epic, Prompt, Clinician, Kasamba. We integrate with WebPT Reach, but not WebPT, so it's a little bit of a different integration. And then obviously in the non-PT industry, there's some EMRs that we integrate with as well. And like we said, we are interoperable, so we can integrate with any EMR. It's just depending on the customer. If we don't already have a current integration, the customer bringing us up to that EMR.
Okay. Justin said, I work with Jane app.
So great question, Jane. Justin. Jane actually has their own online scheduling, so I don't think they would want to integrate with us, but not opposed to it at any point in time. We just haven't reached that. They do have a way of interoperable in online scheduling, I believe, in their own EMR. But I do know that they're not so much focused on the insurance companies. I think they're more of the cash-based services. So I tend to see different types of clinics utilizing that. But if you are using Jane app, I highly recommend using the online scheduling.
Marla, can I put you on the spot?
Sure.
From a marketing perspective, and we recently went through 2 EMR changes. Is there an EMR platform that works best from a marketing purpose for what you're doing with BetterHealthcare?
So we are very neutral, I would say. We work really well with all our partners, and we do love our EMRs. So I would just say think of the more technology savvy ones, the ones that are, when you make a request, they're able to actually do that. Those are the ones that are working really well with marketing, because some may have been built off of legacy systems back in the day, so they're just still trying to catch up to be able to do some of that. But for the most part, we love working with EMRs, and we think of them as partners. We are definitely different. We are a nice additional tool to be able to bridge that gap, because a lot of EMRs are trying to do some scheduling on their own maybe, but they're only working with your current customers in your system. We are the front door, and we live everywhere in your digital world, and from able to pull those people in and track it. So it's very different than just having a portal where somebody can just like reschedule, than if you're actually out in the world marketing to the customer.
Very diplomatic answer. I appreciate that. So there's a question here about MedEnt, which is oddly the EMR that we moved from, and the billing software. It's pretty popular in physician type services, a little bit less frequent, less common. And I only ever knew actually one other PT company that used MedEnt, but do you integrate with them?
We have not done an integration yet with MedEnt, but that doesn't mean that we can't. And I'm sure we'd love to be connected and let you know on our end. It's generally it's an easy lift. It's more, if they are willing to open their doors as well. And normally that just requires a mutual partner.
Cool. So if I don't know M's full name here, but if M wanted to reach out to you, what would be the best way to do that to learn more about a MedEnt integration?
So I would say send me email at marla@betterhealthcare.co. And oops, let me just put that back. Oh, we were right there. Okay. Marla@betterhealthcare.co or marla@betterpt.com. I am transitioning between the two emails, so they all go to me, don't you worry. And of course, I can send my Calendly link out in the chat as well. So I'll put that in the chat. So that way, if anybody wants to just book a time on my calendar, they can do that as well.
Awesome. And M said it's Mikhail. Hopefully the pronunciation is correct. Great. So it looks like, yeah, for everyone on the call, if you didn't see, Marla has her Calendly link there in the chat, and also the best email to reach her at. And I think we have a few minutes if you have any other questions. I think it's a unique opportunity anytime that you're talking with a conversion expert within healthcare in general, because I think it's something that we all suffer with. So yeah, any questions that you have for Marla now would really be a good time to ask that. You can type that in the Q&A or the chat. I won't read that comment out loud.
For Justin.
That's all right. No recording of that, Marla. You're good. Is that what you use?
As a PT, yeah. And I really enjoy their way that they're able to integrate with multiple services, even when it comes to like, even just all your photo and your being able to integrate with Keyed and being able to integrate with home exercise programs. You know, there's so much out there now. And I definitely want to say that don't limit yourself when it comes to, you know, if you're just using the home exercise program that everybody uses. There's a lot out there where they're digital, they're interactive, they're engaging the patient better. So if you are looking to really enhance the patient experience, I encourage you to be on the top of the technology and know what's going on, because you're going to just be the one ahead of the game. Think of all those people who didn't want to use telehealth before the pandemic. I mean, just a side note, we used to give away our telehealth for free. We would beg people to use it. And everyone said, no, we want to touch the patients. And we said, well, just use those lead acquisitions. Sometimes people can't get to you, or they have a sprained ankle and they might not want to drive all the way out to your clinic, you know, and see for that. But then when you get on a call with them, you're able to engage them and get them into your clinic. So sometimes it's a really good lead acquisition tool. And then the pandemic hit and everybody realized that it would have been great to have telehealth set up or set it up quickly. And then now I see it dropping off again. And I say, no, you know, use technology as a tool in your toolbox and to make your life easier and to enhance what you're doing. It doesn't ever replace, but enhances. And that's really what I would leave you at, is use, you know, the breakthrough marketings of the world to be able to get you out to more customers, then use the conversion tools to convert them. And of course, make sure that the patient is the priority and their experience of getting to you is the priority.
Smart. Mikhail asked, will you speak about pricing?
It is a little different depending on sort of what EMR you use. So as a rule of thumb, it's the price of about 1 to 2 patients in a year, right? So if we get you 1 to 2 new patients, that pays for the whole platform over a year. So think of the value of a patient to you, and that's really the price of the platform. We've got a few different tiers, which we call the standard, the enterprise, and the ultimate. If you're a small clinic, you're generally probably just looking at the standard model, and the tiers come along with data, text SMS, all of the above. So that's why there's tiers. So it goes anywhere from about $1,200 a year all the way up to about $3,200 per year. So it's a very lightweight cost. Like we said, if we get you 1 to 2 more patients, you paid your whole platform for the year, and we become that tool and that conversion for you.
Super affordable.
Super affordable.
Yeah, great.
So again, I'd love to engage with all of you on a closer level. So please feel free to email me to schedule a call, and we'll share this video. So if anybody wants to take a look at the video and make sure that you're able to share it with your coworkers so that they can also see what's out there for them too. And Chad, I'd love to hear just on your perspective. I know we've talked a lot about what you guys are doing and that spot where it would really fit in. If you can enlighten the group of where you see the spot where that conversion tool would fit in as well.
Yeah, that's great. So, I think when you and I presented before, Marla, we had the 6 steps. And, if you think about attract and convert, right? And so first we have the attraction. How do we do that? How do we get people in pain in our area to raise their hand? That's going to be with the advertising. That's our wheelhouse at Breakthrough. Now, you said a key point there. There's a gradient, and we have to meet people where they're at. So some people are ready to go, right? They're frustrated. Maybe they had a bad orthopedic specialist appointment, or they have this resolve that they want to avoid the knee surgery, but they are ready to go right now, and they will sign up for a piece of information, whether it's a workshop or a video or a report or a book, and you're going to have one conversation with them with your various tools, whether it's a live human being, texting, email, whatever it may be, and they are going to schedule that appointment right away. They don't want to wait to consume information, but they're ready to go right now. Other people are more skeptical, and they're going to wait longer, and you have to nurture them throughout the process. The key that we see, and it's funny, this isn't even exclusive to physical therapy, but it's all healthcare services, is we have to be willing to nurture that person and hold their hand a little bit and lead them along. So some people, they're ready to get married on the very first date before they even lock eyes with that other person. Other people, a much longer process with more nurturing and more touch points. And the background, though, always is exactly what you're doing with BetterHealthcare, which is offering them an appointment and making it easy for them to do, so that that ball's not dropped. Because way too many times, and we've had this happen, where we're running some sort of direct-to-consumer campaign and we miss a call, or they call on at a time when we're not here, Friday night at 7:30. And then by the time we reach back out to them on Monday, they've already just called the next physical therapist down the road. So like you said, using technology to meet people where they're at and having those different options of, various communication and media forms, but always driving to the appointment or having that readily available 24/7, I think is really key. So yeah, to me, it's a logical integration, a logical connection of what we're doing, helping therapists help more people in pain.
Great, absolutely. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for bringing me on today. And I hope that we all achieve that goal, help more people in pain.
Great. And how about some love for Marla in the chat box for being on here? Thank you very much for doing this, Marla.
Thank you.